Competitive Minecraft SMPs take many shapes and forms. Anarchy and PvP servers, factions, or UHC, the concept's been around almost as long as Minecraft itself. In 2023, though, Quackity's QSMP took inspiration from its predecessors to deliver us the controversial event known only as QSMP Purgatory. In this event, creators were separated into a handful of large teams to compete for points, which were obtained through a variety of tasks and quests. Now, though very mishandled in its first iteration,
I don't feel real. I don't feel real. And you know what the most fucked up part of this is? This is
Holy shit, kill yourself!
Let me go! Let me go!
Purgatory would be hosted again as an application-based event a few months before the end of QSMP. Now, for those who do not know, which is probably a lot of people considering I'm not at all relevant, I'm a part of Mythcraft SMP, a server owned by Gemix, Vampire Isaac, and Blue Halo, featuring players such as Renowned Toilet Thief, Bad Boy Halo, and also, I guess, some other people too.
You've climbed so high, you really have. But can you handle the fall? Huh? Can you manage
Please,
it?
Crispy, please don't do this.
Come on
Please
now,
don't do
what
this.
if we take off these lovely little masks and let's see who the real fools really
Crispy,
are.
why?
Okay.
Everyone get out!
Let's see who the fools really are.
Kids,
Huh?
For the month of July, Mythcraft and another SMP called Olympus decided to do a crossover event, and the chosen format for this crossover was, dramatic drumroll, you'll never guess, Purgatory, but with a twist, a zombie apocalypse twist, zombie apocalypse Purgatory, shut up, it's awesome. We were separated into 4 large teams, red, blue, green, and purple, the last of which I was voted captain. We then had roughly 2 weeks to do as many quests as we could, where every quest was individually claimed per player, rewarding varying levels of points, ranging from a whole 1 point token to as many as 20 or 25. Aside from this, you could earn a small amount of points by placing first, second, or third in any of the server's 3 special events. Now, a few weeks before the event, we were given the mod pack. Immediately, my teammate Felis and I started brainstorming. Now, I'm a vanilla Minecraft player, alright? The last mod pack I played a lot of was Tech It, which was in 2012. Do the math! My modded Minecraft knowledge is 13 years old. I'm a 24-year-old human being. I'm a historian. I'm a teacher. I'm about to have a whole-ass master's degree in my name. But the biggest gap in my experience as a person, that's right, modded Minecraft. And this is where it hit me. I remembered that at the end of his life, Sun Tzu was quoted as saying, "I should have wasted less time studying and more time gaming, alright? Useless." Anyway, I was saved by Felis' profound knowledge of mods. Meanwhile, I offered up my similarly profound knowledge of vanilla Minecraft and its PvP applications. Pushes up nerd glasses. Anyway, Felis made us 4 Google Docs to use. My initial plans can only be summed up as cyberbully in the competition, but I immediately realized I still want people to be my friends and like me when the event's over, so I took it way down. In fact, throughout the entire event, I only killed 2 people, and one of them was an honorable 1v1 that ended quicker than the time it took to actually get there. Day 1 was kind of impossible to play because of the amount of people online. The server itself couldn't handle it, so the owners and admins not only upgraded the server, but also worked overnight to optimize it, and eventually everything was running smoothly. Another thing to keep in mind is pretty much all the people playing this event have real lives, meaning most teams had a roughly 50% rate of inactivity by my calculations. For some teams, this lessened over time, while for others it remained the same or worsened. This meant teams with higher activity had a distinct advantage in the amount of points they could cash in. Purple team didn't play much for the first couple days, but by some miracle, we managed to get together. And though we were demotivated by the large gap in points between our team and all the others, we locked in. Now, you might have an image of us being a sweaty group of Cheetos drinking, Mountain Dew eating, try-hard gamers, but I was very specific in harboring a very different type of vibe, alright? Just as we shared one singular collective brain cell, so too were we guided by one singular guiding principle. Hoc tua matata. Call every hawk Hawk Tua, because we don't know anything else.
Why are the voices in my head yelling at me that I don't want to know what Hawk Tua means?
So Hawk Tua is a wonderful thing. They sing about it in The Lion King.
Hawk Tua Matata.
Yeah. Hawk Tua Matata. It means no worries. When life throws that thing right at you, you go, Hawk Tua. And it really just makes your day.
I am sorry. I love you guys so much. Oh my god. I was like the circle of life is what?
Yeah.
Haktua Matata. Oh my god.
Matata. That's our theme song. That's our team song. Oh, look out for the evil dog, evil dog, evil dog.
Hey, so I have some diamonds for you. However, I'm also in a wall.
You want to get out of the wall first, then, in that case.
Thank you for your advice.
You're welcome.
I
know I'm
couldn't
really
have done it
helpful.
without you.
You know I'm the team captain. This is this kind of strategy that I was elected for, dude.
Double. Make it double.
To protect the world from devastation, to unite all peoples within our nation.
Jesse.
And James. Purple team blasts off at the speed of light. Surrender now or prepare to hawk to a fight. Oh, I'm literally getting hawk to it by this zombie, dude. This motherfucker just spat at me. As you can see, not only were there magical, powerful hawks watching over us, but also some of us had the urge to say Tua immediately after calling to a hawk. We even named one of them Tony Hawk Tua, skate on that thing. Anyway, another one of the hawks, Vesper, was very sweet and kept us company often, so naturally I traumatized her by talking about the finality of death and the darkness that awaits us all. Little guy, I mean, oh, my one isn't. My one's dead, you know. My one got killed by a bad man.
Romeo.
Oh, Romeo?
Romeo.
What? But if they don't come back, then what happens? Well, they're dead. Gone forever. It's very sad. Well, you know how you couldn't remember anything before we arrived? It's like that, but forever. You just forget everything that happens after dying? No, they just cease to exist, really. No, death isn't scary at all. It's, I'm gonna quote Lord of the Rings here, you know, the great curtain of the world rolls back, and beyond, you see a swift sunrise, and under it, evergreen fields as far as the eye can see, and everyone you love gathered in one place, happy and safe. Stop existing forever? Yeah, I assume so. I won't forget you, okay? I'm gonna cry. I love you. You're my favorite. You're both my favorites because you're both awesome, but you're my favorite. You're my favorites' favorite. I give you the mausoleum of all hope and desire. I give it to you, not that you may remember time, but that you might forget it now and then for a moment, and not spend all of your breath trying to conquer it. So anyways, with our clearly superior intellect, we shot up to first place for the day. Although this wouldn't last, as we would never again reach such high levels of team activity with our silly vibes and friendly cooperation, including with other teams. Okay, wait. What? What? It's Purple Team's motto, dude. We hawk to a matata.
They all have matching tattoos that say it, don't
We
you
do
know?
have matching tattoos. Mine says
That's what
bad
they did
bitch,
first
though, and it's
day.
right above my ass. By the end of week 1, we were firmly secured in second place. Now, despite this, we weren't about to start slacking just because we managed to get enough points to have a mathematical advantage. From the start of the event, we kept tabs on all our enemy team's bases. As anyone who plays an SMP of this nature would know, we needed to make secret bases because stealing was encouraged, but every secret base had to be within 200 blocks of our server-assigned starter base. This meant there were a limited number of chunks that could house a base, assuming nobody broke that rule, which they didn't. Mostly due to the efforts of Felis, our team was the only one that found all the other team's main secret bases, sometimes more than once due to the fact people moved around as they suspected they were discovered. The closest we came to being discovered was when Red found our decoy base, which cannot even really be called a secret. It was like 3 blocks below our server-assigned one. In fact, I was afraid it was a little too obvious this was a fake and that it would make people dig around more, but they didn't. It's fine. They didn't find that one. They didn't find it, especially after we moved it as a double safe, and we were secure for the rest of the event. But I didn't sleep any easier. I would wake up in a sweat every night with anxiety, wondering, God, I hope nobody found our base and stole off all of our hard-earned items. Only we can do that. Anyway, finding an enemy team's base was important for several reasons. Theft was as much a setback for them as it was profit for us, and Felis mastered the art of subtlety, in fact taking only small amounts of items at a time, except for the time she took 2 enchantment tables at once from Green Team. I'm sorry, Green Team. We returned those eventually when we found out they were hella broke. At the end of the week, they didn't have an enchantment room yet. We were like, oh my god, we destroyed them. What do we do? What did we do? So we returned them for the sake of, cultivating friendly vibes, even with our enemies. You must be kind. That's the thing about competition. If you're competing with friends, don't you want to remain friends when the competition is over? Be mindful of that, chap. Be mindful of that. Very mindful indeed, yes. That being said, though, some members of other teams did not seem as interested in cultivating friendship with us. Red was particularly irksome, targeting us from very early on. Now, I foresaw this, of course. My last video served as a provocation, a waving of the red flag, as it were, at the charging bull, all in a calculated effort. I knew that loudly announcing my skill level could wound egos, but I also knew that a wounded ego is prone to overcorrection. Before Oblivion, I spent 2 weeks teaching PvP to those interested, which also allowed me to discover the skill level of almost every single player in the event. This allowed me to discover that at the time, I was the most skilled, though I knew this could change as people practiced and honed their abilities. In turn, I fashioned myself into a weapon. I sweated harder than ever before, reaching levels of skill and technique I had never even dreamed of. When the time came, I played efficiently, and I played well. As I was the only PvPer in my team, my presence had to be a safety net for the rest of my team. So long as I was online, they knew they were probably safe, and several of them wished to avoid combat as they weren't comfortable with it. Now, we all had our strategies and methods to allow them to escape any threat that they couldn't handle. I had only one more thing left to do, test my own strength, so I may know if my efforts have been successful. Now you see, modded PvP is very different from vanilla PvP. Modded weapons tend to be overly busted. Now most of the overly busted weapons were banned, but a handful of the ones that remained were still sufficiently busted that I felt like even though somebody could be way worse than me, I was still at risk of getting killed if they knew this, if they knew the modded weapons and how to use them. And of course I had the same weapons, but you never know. I might choke, they might clutch, I might be worse, they might be better. So, in order to choose to test my own strength, I selected Red Team, whose leader had been the most aggressive in the event, and in the process had earned the ire of many. I knew for a fact that they had plans against my team from day one, including a mob-spawning sky base, the name of which ranged from, officially mind you, fuck you, to Project Sunless Day. I much prefer the second one. I located and destroyed the sky base with ease, because even though it was theoretically outside of even shadow distance, the cultivation of friendship with other players allowed me to trade and gather information accessible only to a few. The sky base was unlikely to pose a threat anyway, not least because we never traveled above ground near our base, and thus were never in any danger from the mobs it could have spawned if it did work. Regardless, I decided it was time to act and make it clear that Purple Team had been holding back. Though the nether was closed, thanks to the dungeons in the mod pack, I was able to acquire netherwort and blaze rods very early on, while soul sand could also be very easily crafted. This meant I had access to every PvP potion I needed. I could have gone the extra mile and made Turtle Master potions, but I was too lazy to wait 3 whole nights for the turtle eggs to hatch, so I postponed it and kept the eggs in case I changed my mind, which I never did, okay? I'm lazy. 3 whole nights in-game? That's like 45 minutes! Anyway. An important aspect of Oblivion is that we have a 5-hour time limit per day to avoid grinding and no-life. I mean, who would ever do that, right? I mean, who would no-life a Minecraft server just to come first, right? I mean, yeah. God damn it. Anyway, this meant time itself was a strategic calculation. Throughout week 1, we measured other teams' play hours, and by we, I mean I. Blue team preferred to log on together, achieving the highest active player count of any team, and cementing themselves firmly ahead of the rest, forever sitting in first place, an act that I will never forgive them for. Green team mostly played at hours none of my team ever even saw, meaning it was too late to consider them. Red team, on the other hand, was as much of a mixed pack as our own purple team. The leader used to play around the same hours as the rest of us, eventually switching to an hour closer to blue teams and farther from my usual reach. This presented a problem. If I spent too many of my 5 hours, I wouldn't be able to log on at the same time, which would make an assassination attempt difficult. I had to cut down on the variables one by one. First, I had a waystone inside Red Base, which would remain hidden until the end of Oblivion. This meant I had the fastest possible route to their leader, minimizing wastes of time. Then I created a sense of false confidence. I logged out with a full 2 hours remaining and would not return until their leader's average play-in time began. Then I would prepare until the information got back to me that he was at their base. With invisibility potions and a dream, I lay in wait and listened to voice chat. I waited for a minute or two, mostly so that I could break out of the wall without my block breaking being heard, but then the one thing I was hoping against happened.
Oh, Roman's near our base.
Okay, that's concerning.
Now, we use a mod called Fake Names, which functions kind of like a nickname plugin, allowing you to use custom names and colors and so on. But these only load when a player is in render distance of you, usually in the same chunk. The same is also true for hat layers when you press tab, which do not show in the player list until the player is nearby. I was approximately found and knew I had to move. It was not going according to plan. I was alone against 2. These odds were very unfair. For them.
More near us.
Okay. Alright, take these emeralds.
You need a helmet and boots?
Oh, never mind.
Told ya.
Damn it.
TP away if you're low. I can't see shit.
Yeah.
You have thorns? What the fuck? Oh, I can't see shit.
Did you die? Oh shit. Well, I better go then.
Red Leader teleported away right before he died, denying me his loot, but I had achieved my mission. I knew now my power and sent a perfectly clear message. Let me make a quick little comment, just in case you're wondering how we had so many enchantments when even the strongest of our enemies didn't yet. It's all thanks to Felis's huge brain. You see, while studying the mod pack weeks prior, Felis discovered that the mod Traveler's backpacks had many awesome backpacks with powerful abilities. For example, we had a hay backpack placed next to our farm, which could be worn to highly increase crop yield. Felis wore the spider backpack, allowing her to climb up blocks and spy on people, which they use to their advantage several times without ever being discovered. I wore the Warden's backpack, which gives its wearer 2 extra hearts and gives a couple seconds of slowness to whoever hits you. Last but not least, the Bookshelf backpack, which can be placed as a block to act as a bookshelf while also increasing enchantment luck. This does not mean you'll get protection 4 or sharpness 5 every enchantment, but it does mean you're far more likely to get several valuable enchantments at once, which severely cuts down the XP and time usage of getting such enchantments. Our team remained in second place going into week 2, and though Green would occasionally jump up in points as more of their members became active, the amount of tasks and tokens in week 2 was far lower than those of week 1. This was good for us, since after the start of week 1, my team's inactivity would drop and hover in the 50% range until the end of the event, as many of us were busy with real life, exams, work, and so forth. We had managed a lot of points in the first week. Though it was not impossible for us to lose our placement, our activity was sufficient to hold second and widen the gap between us and third. I wasn't able to be there for the last event of the server, which served kind of like a finale, because at this point I had traveled to the other side of the country to stay with my boyfriend, and the very night before the event, his youngest cat peed on the router. I wish I was joking, I'm so serious right now. I was devastated. This was gonna be my event. It was all about melee PvP and it was entirely vanilla. I was sabotaged by router urination. Instead, I had to sub out and accept. There was to be no grand finale for me this time. Yet a healing salve remains in the fact that I had such a blast at this event. The owners, particularly Gemix and Mobster, had a very stressful task, and though it was not easy and they faced many challenges, they still gave it their all, and in the process, dozens of us were able to have fun together. If anyone deserves thanks and kindness, it is them and the admins, who sacrificed their own time and money amidst their jobs and real lives to provide us with a new experience. And although the event was a competition, most of us saw it as a friendly competition. Despite my instincts of blood and mayhem, the happiness and enjoyment of my friends is far more important than my victory in a video game, and this was never in question. Competition is not cruel. Competition is stretching your hand out over the boundary line and meeting your opponent in companionship, not as enemies, but as equals, and beyond that, as friends. As Superman would say, maybe that's the real punk rock.